All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual who is set to compete at Invicta FC 51, which goes down on January the 18th. It is the headline attraction, and it is a bantamweight title defense. We have Talita Bernardo challenging for Taneisha Tennant's World Championship, and very happy to be welcoming Taneisha onto the show today. How's everything going with the training ahead of this one, Taneisha?
Everything has been going great. I had a great training camp, and I'm just ready to get the show on the road, Can't wait for next week.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of very exciting components to this upcoming fight here, for sure. But I'm kind of wondering just, I guess, how the last one felt, like in the context of it being like the first defense of the title. Like, I feel like a certain amount of people, I guess, in MMA put a certain amount of stock into like the first title defense and it kind of being like a significant kind of moment in one's career. Did it kind of feel like that to you at all, or just a similar feeling to other past fights and whatnot?
It felt similar to like every other fight. But I know a lot of people. It's like a big deal, Like you said, the first title defense, it kind of like cements you as a true champion. So, yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. For me, it just felt like any other fight. But, I'm glad it went my way. Glad, of my performance. I mean, I wish I could have got the finish, but definitely hopefully this next fight, I'll get it done.
And I feel like it's the classic question when one is in this kind of situation, but is there a level of maybe nerves that emerge with it being like a split decision? Like you're kind of in that moment where you hear like the first two scorecards and you're kind of gauging it off of that. Like, did it feel like a certain situation? Like, did it feel like a little tense almost, or maybe not so much? You felt you'd done enough to secure the win, sort of thing?
I definitely felt I did enough to win, but the way, the environment with, judges are these days, you just never really know, you know what I mean? I mean, you've seen that in, multiple fights where people won the fight, end up not getting the decision. So, you never can be too sure. That's kind of what happens when you leave it in the hands of the judges. It could go either way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and definitely like a tough opponent you faced last time out, Olga Rubin, someone who had previously contended for, featherweight gold in Bellator and was contending for your Invicta bantamweight title there. Like, what were the main takeaways from, that performance? And just, I guess, can you speak to like what kind of quality of win that is? Because it seems like she's a pretty decorated fighter in her own right.
Yeah, I would say it was a good win. It definitely was a different kind of like style that I'm used to fighting. She was basically on like her back foot most of the fight. So I really had to pressure the entire fight. But yeah, I think it was good. Her record, her experience speaks for itself. I was able to, win the fight and, still look good while doing it.
And you talk about it being kind of an uncommon, stylistic matchup in the sense of like they're kind of on the back foot more and kind of utilizing, I guess, more like lateral movement, I suppose. Like, do you see this upcoming fight against Talita Bernardo bearing a resemblance to that previous fight, or do you see it being more of a fight where she's going to more actively engage you and try to pressure and come forward, I suppose?
I think she might look to pressure me. But regardless of what she does, my main thing is to finish this fight. And that's what I'm looking to do. Like, this is like, I really want to put like a statement on this particular performance. And yeah, I just can't wait. Just can't wait to get out there.
And I guess just noticing like the last one being in Colorado, and I was seeing this upcoming one supposed to be there too. I think like one of the classic things would be to talk about the, I guess, higher altitude considerations. Was that something you had to factor into your previous fight? Like, do you take anything away from the previous fight that can, I guess, better your cardio for this one? Not that your cardio looked bad last time, obviously, but just, I guess, is there any different considerations when fighting in a high altitude area?
Let's see. For me, I really didn't experience any kind of altitude problems. My cardio felt really great. They say the air is kind of like thin out there, but honestly, I really didn't notice it. So I basically kept everything, the same. Just, hard training and things like that. Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
And I guess I'm wondering what the tape study might be leading into this one, because I feel like certain fighters I talk to really like to check out the last couple fights their opponent has had, but some fighters also like to just solely focus on their own individual refinement so they can be more fluid and adaptable when the fight goes down. Where are you at in that kind of sense? Were you checking out some previous Bernardo fights ahead of this one, or maybe not so much?
For me, what I like to do is I like to maybe watch one or two of their previous fights, just get an idea of their style. Not too in-depth, just, general style. And I let my coaches watch the videos and kind of formulate a game plan. And for me, this camp, particularly, I was just focused on myself, tightening up some things I need to work on, just really sharpening the axe, so I could be 100%.
And as far as the main space you're working at, in doing my research, it seems like a lot of the times you're working out of Budokan Martial Arts Academy. Is that where you were at for this one as well?
Yeah, that was my main base. That's where I was most of the time. And, I've been working other places with other people as well, but for sure that was my main base.
It seems like you got a ton of great looks too, as far as training partners and perhaps even sparring partners. Just seeing some of the photos with people Sajara Eubanks, Deanna Bennett, Caitlin Chikagi, and I saw you with Aaron Blanchfield a little bit ago, I think in the last camp. So it seems like no shortage of great individuals to refine those tools with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I say this is one of my best camps. I had a lot of looks. Some of the styles was similar to this opponent, so I was able to really work on some stuff. And yeah, it's just been great.
So has this camp been curated to be against more of a, I guess, jiu-jitsu centric kind of style, just with your opponent's, last couple of finishes being by way of submission and everything like that? Have you been kind of curating the sparring partner dynamic to be with more jiu-jitsu centric kind of fighters, or is it more of a body type mirroring kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. High-level grapplers I've been rolling with, a lot of black belts. Body types as well. They just happen to be, it ends up working out that they also kind of shorter than me, so it kind of works out where they're mirroring, her height as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Yeah, and this next one might be a bit of a hard question to answer, but I thought it was interesting all the same, just because I was rewatching your last fight, and the commentators were really talking about just the great composure you have for someone. I mean, not that you're inexperienced per se, but it seems like the composure almost belies that a little bit. Why do you feel like you are so comfortable in competition? Or is that more of a perception thing? What is, I guess, what do you bring to the table whereby that, composure is out there and you're able to navigate the fight with a seemingly calmer, kind of focused demeanor?
Well, that demeanor and that, I would say confidence comes from not only how long I've been doing this, but my incredible training partners. I've been through a lot. I've trained with the best, and I've been pushed in the sparring room and in the training, in my training. So when I go to competition, it's I feel like I've been through it all. So this person across the cage from me, they're not going to have an answer for me. That's how I feel, and I train just as hard with that mindset. So that's kind of what you're seeing. You're just seeing the depth of my training and the depth of my resilience, basically.
Yeah, that's a perfect word. I was kind of thinking of that too, because in doing my backgrounding on you. I didn't know like what you had gone through in like, surviving cancer and like what happened with like Hurricane Sandy and stuff like that. Like it seems like there's like a real level of resilience to what you bring to the table, just like a real, I guess, unshakable kind of like sense of self and just trying to get beyond adversity almost. I think that would be a great attribute in fighting. And I guess just curious too, because I saw you were part of the, Phoenix Rising tournament too, and you got to have like multiple competitions in the course of the same night. Like how different is it to navigate something like that? Like obviously in previous situations you're fighting a single time and then that's it. Like is there a certain methodology one has to have, like I guess regulating your energy levels between fights and stuff like that? Like I would think it would be almost an entirely different kind of thing, like how you map it out.
Right. I would say my energy levels are pretty well regulated. I usually try to keep a calm demeanor. Try to stay, just focus on the mission at hand. Especially with the tournament, the Phoenix tournament, I had to be like more so just like calm because a lot of things was, a lot of moving pieces was going on. I didn't even know who I was fighting most of the time. So I definitely had to be calm and I don't know, just being there with my trainers and just knowing that, honestly, just knowing that I was the best one out there. I honestly believe I'm the best bantamweight out there in the world, to be honest. And yeah, that's basically what you're seeing. And just having one fight that night, it's a breeze because it's only 25 minutes maximum, and it could be a lot shorter. That's what I think going into these fights. Like, it doesn't have to be 25 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, like, is it almost like cooler to have a title like that, like this tournament championship, beat 3 opponents in one night? Like, obviously having like a divisional lineal championship and you're looking to defend it for the second time, like that's a tremendous accomplishment in its own right. Like, does one seem almost a little bit cooler than the other, or are both just like sweet accomplishments and you relish them in equal proportion, I guess?
I definitely relish it in equal parts, but I will say the Phoenix tournament, it was definitely fun. I honestly had a blast just going out against like multiple people and just styling on all of them. It was great. It was definitely fun.
And I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't kind of draw back to a comment you were making a bit ago about feeling like you're the best bantamweight in the world. Like, you seem like a very like driven, goal-oriented kind of person, I would think. Like, are there specific mapped out goals you have for the remainder of your MMA career that you want to actualize into reality? Like, is there a Taneisha Tennant bucket list in MMA?
Oh yeah, of course. I definitely have some things that I need to accomplish. After this next fight, I'm definitely going to be more vocal on that account. But absolutely, 2023 is going to be a fun year, and all the years to come.
Are we going to be getting something in the post-fight interview? Is that sort of what you're hinting at there, or?
What's that?
I was going to say, it sounds like you're almost like teasing like there's something in the post-fight interview. Like, is there a call-out or a certain expression of a goal there?
There might be. Yeah, definitely. Definitely stay tuned.
Well, very intriguing. I mean, another kind of fun little cherry on top component to what should be a great fight. But I thought to ask this question too, just because of the bantamweight representation that's also on this event. Like, I mean, obviously you're squarely focused on your own fight and defending your title, but I was noticing Serena De Jesus and your previous opponent Olga Rubin are fighting, and that would strike me as a fight that might be a title eliminator or at least could present another challenger, and both of those are rematches for you. You have victories over each. Is that a fight you have like a peripheral awareness with in the context of it might be the next opponent after this, or are you just squarely focused on this one more so?
I'm just focused on this one. It's interesting. Yeah, there is a lot of bantamweights on this card, but like I said, I'm the queen of the division. I don't have to go looking for anybody. They have to come to me. So that's basically where my head is at.
Yeah, very true. Sitting at the top and yeah, looking to get that second title defense, as I was saying before, and definitely looks like an exciting fight. But one thing I wanted to kind of touch on too, I just thought it was fun because I'm a boxing fan as well. I saw he took a picture in front of the Larry Holmes statue. What was that moment like? That looked like a fun photo op.
Oh yes, yes. It was the first time I was there in that area. Yeah, it was kind of like a family trip. We went out there, took a picture, and we actually was trying to find his bar, but I think it was closed at that time, so we never actually got to meet him. I know he visited his bar like all the time, but yeah, it was a cool moment, seeing one of the greats, at least their statue, and kind of what they represented for the sport.
Oh yeah, it's weird. He's like very rated in a certain way, but almost underrated too. Definitely one of the better jabs in the history of the sport as well. But one of the last questions I had for you, like I'm always curious about like fighters' nicknames and the backstory and all that, and your nickname being Triple Threat. Like where did you get that moniker from? Like what's the backstory on that one?
Just the backstory is basically just that I could do it all. You might not see it all, but I could do it all. And that's kind of where the nickname came from, I think one of, like, the students at my dojo, they said it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. And it kind of stuck. So
That's
pretty much where that came from.
Yeah, it's kind of curious though. You're talking about like maybe people haven't really seen every aspect of that. Like, do you feel like there's still a lot of like tools you have that haven't been showcased in your MMA fights as of yet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They see what I want them to see. Like I said, I go where the fight takes me. If it just happens to be Staten, that's where I'll do damage. But if there's an opportunity for sure, then the fight will go, where it goes. I like to be free in there. I don't like to kind of have like a preordained thing that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I like to fight. I like to be free out there.
Yeah, I love the level of insight and been fun to watch your fights up until this point, and this next one, no stranger, definitely one I'm excited for, but I also want to be mindful of your time and schedule as well, Taneisha. So to that point, is there maybe anything you'd like to add kind of as a parting thought as we're wrapping things up here?
Let's see. Just I hope everybody tunes into this fight. It's going to be a banger. I'm going to definitely put on the show. And just, follow my IG, Taneisha Tennant, and my Facebook page. That's about it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you. Yeah, no problem. I really enjoyed having you on. Been enjoying watching your fights for a little bit now. Like I was watching around like the Phoenix Rising times and things like that. So yeah, no, super cool getting to have you on the show, and should be a cool title fight to check out as well. So to reiterate, I appreciate you making the time, and you have a good rest of your day there, Taneisha.
Thank you. You too. Take care.